You're listening to a podcast from thespoilist.com. Welcome to a First Contact special. You must remember this, Season 3. Although for you, dear listener, but a few weeks have passed since you heard our last episode, The Best of Both Worlds. For us, it has been 6 months through the magic of not editing podcasts. So, in this edition, me and James will go through the episode titles of Star Trek Next Generation Season 3 to see if Alex remembers any of it. Given we've recorded the season over the course of 2.5 years, the chances are low. Now, Alex named his files in a different way than was helpful, so they provide a little extra clue to what it might actually be about from his point of view. So, anyway, here we go. James, would you like to start us off?
The first episode, Alex, is a matter of perspective. And the clue that you've given yourself is gangbang.
Right. Was there some sort of gangbang element to the episode?
No.
Not particularly, no.
Okay. It's a helpful clue. A matter of perspective. Klingons?
No.
Someone's forced to reevaluate their perspective on something?
Kind of, on the holodeck.
Imagine number of perspectives at the same time.
They're in a prism.
No.
Do you remember some chairs and tables on the holodeck?
No.
Do you remember when Riker was accused of raping a woman? As an incidental part of the episode.
Amazingly not.
There was a jealous husband.
Oh, a jealous husband, and it was suggested that Riker had raped a woman, and they had to relive out the events in the holodeck to prove that, in actual fact, no, he was just a bit creepy towards her.
It's amazing. We didn't even need to give you any help. The next one is Transfigurations. Your clue is, I bring you love.
Okay, so someone has a glow about them, like Mr. Burns in that episode of The Simpsons. Some alien species comes aboard the ship and acts a bit weird, and then I've no idea.
It was one of the more recent ones we watched.
Well, recent's relative.
That's true. Yellow glow is absolutely right. Love interest for Dr. Crusher?
Well, that's basically any of her stories, isn't it?
This is not going to go well.
Well, that's going to be the plot, basically, isn't it? That she has a love interest, he has a glow. Yeah.
Yeah, he's an alien, he's lost his memory, and he's actually evolving to the next phase of his species.
Oh, and he turns into a light. Yeah, I remember, yeah. God, that was an unmemorable episode.
The Ensigns of Command. And your clue here is ensigns.
Ensigns, okay.
That's not a very helpful clue, to be honest.
To be honest, it's not a very helpful title.
Did it contain some ensigns?
No.
No, okay. A bit of commanding?
Yes.
Okay.
This was a very early episode.
Wesley and his mate steal a shuttle?
It's not even this season.
Right. Wesley.
No, Data.
Data?
Do you remember a water fountain at all?
No. Did Data take some kids?
No.
No.
Did he contaminate someone's water supply?
There is another episode where Data contaminates a water supply.
Yeah, now I'm getting mixed up with the one with the radiation from season 7.
Data goes down to a planet to evacuate them because they're going to get destroyed by a space rock.
With you.
Not an asteroid, an actual space rock who talks and wants the humans removed. And he has to convince them to go. And he's not very convincing, but he gets like a girlfriend and she's sort of helpful, and then he destroys some of their nice architecture and blows up their fountain and stuff. And he's like, it's not worth anything if you're dead.
And we watched this.
Yeah. It's a good one. It's quite good.
Remember we talked about how it looked really nice compared with the first episode of the season, which was very enclosed. And how this episode should have opened the season because it looked so grand, and it was memorable because of it.
Clearly.
The next one is yesterday's Enterprise. Your clue is 28 weeks ago's Enterprise.
Well, this one I do remember. This was a good episode, and involved them going into an alternate dimension where there's a war ongoing, and really I'm just talking while I'm trying to work out why on earth I wrote 28 weeks ago's Enterprise. I think I just watched 28 Days Later. That's not a helpful clue. Yeah, it was a good episode. And 28 Days Later was a good film as well. Everyone's a winner.
Here's an easy one for you. The Best of Both Worlds, Part 1.
Yep. No, I remember that one. After a tangle with the Borg, Picard is not himself, but thanks to a bit of daring captaincy by Riker, they managed to kidnap him back away from the Borg and defeat the Borg cube. But will Picard ever really be the same man again?
That's Best of Both Worlds Part 2. That's Season 4.
So from that to one you definitely won't remember, because nobody does. Evolution. No clue.
Okay. Clearly something evolves.
That's true.
How on earth did you work that out?
I'm guessing it's not a deep study like some sort of intergalactic blind watchmaker.
I'll say Wesley School Project. Does that help?
No. I was thinking, is this an episode where they go to a planet and there's an old guy and a young woman and he keeps changing? Have I conflated several episodes into one there?
That's a different episode.
Right. Data creates a species that keeps changing?
Nope. You're not going to get this one.
No.
Nope. Dr. Kelso?
Who?
From Scrubs.
From Scrubs.
Yeah. I've never seen Scrubs.
So, an obsessed scientist arrives on the Enterprise to perform a once-in-a-lifetime experiment, but...
Oh, and she dies.
No, he.
Oh, he dies. Yeah, and it's really matter of fact.
He doesn't die.
Doesn't he?
No.
Doesn't the Admiral come out at the end and say, oh, well, I'm sorry, we did everything we could, but it wasn't enough. I watched his hands, they were so fast.
No, that's a different episode. That's a different person entirely who dies.
A lot of death, isn't there?
No, there's not, but you've added some.
Well, actually, there is, because Dr. Kelso kills the Nana.
Yes, there's a new life form that have been released onto the ship, and they threaten the experiment and the Enterprise.
Like nanobots getting into the machines and pissing about with the computers.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I have a vague recollection of one scene.
Okay. That was a long time ago, but that was extremely tedious.
What, this or that episode?
This. That episode was fine. It was basically fine. I think we said at the time in our audacious review.
But isn't it a bit ridiculous that Wesley accidentally creates a new life form? Can we analyse that again? Because that's not right, is it?
Well, I mean, to be honest, it was the last thing he did all series.
Next episode, The Offspring. And your clue is, we keep her in the attic.
Okay, I'm surprised at myself for not going for an obvious pun based on the band The Offspring. Data creates a daughter, and for some reason, like a creepy prick, keeps her up on a platform that he has for no particularly good reason in his quarters, just to bring something down in a sort of Frankenstein manner from the ceiling.
Yeah.
I like to imagine that there's somebody's sleeping quarters above his lab, and whenever something raises, it goes up into their sleeping quarters.
The next one is Sins of the Father, and your clue for some reason is Shins of the Father, which I don't think helps.
No one got kicked in the shins.
No. But from the episode title, you should be able to guess what kind of episode it is.
Catholic?
Well, I guess if you think of Star Trek's Catholics.
Klingons?
Yeah. I don't know why.
I don't know why I would have got that from what you said either. When I think of Catholics, I think of a warmongering race in space.
But yeah, like, there was a big Klingon episode.
Worf's family are accused of having been cowards or committed some kind of crime or done something or other, and he has to prove that they were honourable, and Picard goes along for some reason, and there's an old woman.
Yep. Well done. Excellent.
The next episode, The Bonding. And your clue is, in all capital letters, your mum's dead.
So someone's mother's dead.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a member of the crew?
Nope. Well, in what way do you mean is it a member of the crew?
That's mother's died.
No.
It is?
No, it's not a member of the crew whose mother has died.
No.
Ah. You're going to have to give me a clue.
It was a member of the crew who was the mother who died.
They were addressing children on the Enterprise.
There was a member of... Yeah, there was a child on board the Enterprise whose parent had died. That's it. That's all I can remember.
That's just really coming back with the same
it?
words in a slightly different order.
But that was the plot, though, wasn't it?
But no, there was a sci-fi plot as well involving aliens who felt guilty about the dead mother.
There was a planet, and the child goes down onto the planet, and they're caring for the child.
No.
A badly rendered set.
No, you're thinking of Pen Pals.
No, I thought he was thinking of the one with the old people alone on the planet.
To be fair, I could be thinking of several episodes.
So anyway, the alien becomes his mother, but isn't really his mother. It just looks like his mother.
What, an intergalactic Norman Bates?
Well, yeah, basically.
Ah, you'd think that would be more interesting than it sounds.
Like, it wasn't bad. Anyway.
Our review of so many episodes.
The next one is The Enemy, and your clue is Geordie's Hole.
That's actually a very helpful clue. Geordie and a Klingon?
Nope.
No. A Romulan.
Yes.
End up down a big hole. And have to get out of the hole.
Right.
But they don't trust each other.
Mm-hmm.
In the hole.
Right. I mean, yeah. That is basically what Memory Alpha says.
You could say they're in a hole. A whole heap of trouble.
The next episode is Booby Trap. And your very unhelpful clue this time is Tit Trap.
Okay. I'm going to take a punt and say Ferengi?
No.
No, okay. Was it one where Gene Roddenberry was involved in the costume?
No.
No. There is
Okay.
there is an element of creepiness to it.
Geordie?
Oh, does he create a digital woman?
Yes.
Yes, he does. Well, not creates. He turns an actual woman into somebody who he falls in love with on the holodeck. It's just he's never met this actual woman, and she was one of the designers of the Enterprise. You know what would be brilliant? If he ended up meeting her in real life. That would be really weird, wouldn't it?
Next one, The Hunted. Your clue is, we going to leave you all to kill each other.
Space Sinn Féin.
No.
No. Well, there's obviously a planet where some kind of war is taking place. Is it the Greasers? Sort of rock and rolly type, or Kiss?
No.
Even maybe.
No.
No. No. Clue?
James Cromwell's in it with a moustache.
Is that a notable feature?
Councillor Troy bonds with a dangerous man.
Okay, that could be any episode.
That's true.
Oh, is that the episode where he can read other people's minds and he starts being really creepy and
No,
trying to
different
bed
episode.
people using the power of his mind, like that Mel Gibson film?
Different episode.
That's a different episode which would have the same clue. It's a planet of super soldiers.
No.
And they've all fought in this war, and now they're no longer needed. So they're being...
Oh, yes, vaguely. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean that is about the reach of my knowledge on that episode.
An episode I'm sure you'll remember straight away. Menage a Troy. And your clue is intergalactic sex pests.
Sex pests. Well, it rings a bell.
Surely you can remember.
There's something that chimes in the memory. And I just get an image of Gene Roddenberry saying, "Less clothes."
Yes, this is the episode in which Laxana Troy and Diana Troy wear no clothes.
Quality it was too. That loop really does go on for a while, doesn't it?
1 minute 20 to be precise. Dun 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 dun.
The next episode, which I'm sure you remember, is Tin Man, and your clue is Long Live the New Flesh.
Ah, yes. Everything goes very David Cronenberg, and there's a ship made of flesh, and the chair comes out of the floor and it's made of flesh, and no one questions if the ship is getting off on you sitting in the chair. That may not have been the main driving force of the episode, but...
It was more entertaining than the actual episode.
I think we did spend a good 10 minutes talking about the chair candle. The next episode, Sarek. And your clue is very helpful. Hosni Musarak.
I see. Did it feature the Egyptian Prime Minister?
No, I don't think that Sarek held the position of Egyptian Prime Minister.
Okay. Was it Spock's dad?
It was indeed.
There we go. But wouldn't it have been fun if Hosni Mubarak turned up? Hosni Mubarak, what are you doing here?
I don't think it would have been fun.
On a star? No, it probably wouldn't have been fun. It probably would have been very awkward.
Man, do you remember when these used to be the short episodes? The next one is Hollow Pursuits, and your clue is, what do you keep in your shed, Mr. Vegetable?
Ah, okay. That sounds like a very unhelpful clue, but it's not, because that's about a Jasper Carrot sketch where a young French boy mocks him for having the name of Carrot, so therefore it's broccoli, which means it's Barclay, and his mad fantasies.
Very good.
These clues you've written yourself are really paying off. We move on to one of your most helpful clues yet. So the episode is The Vengeance Factor, and your clue is vengeance.
Right. Klingons?
No. Now you have actually mentioned this element before, in one of your wild stabs at a guess.
Someone is, they're, is it the plot of What Women Want?
No. Do you remember the bikers?
Oh, right, yes. The stray cats are down on the planet and they're in the middle of a war.
Sort of. Do you remember the little sweet blonde lady who is thousands of years old?
No.
And Riker murders her brutally.
No, I mostly remember making jokes about Brian Setzer. It's going well, isn't it?
I mean, this is the best year yet. The next one is, who watches the Watchers? Your clue is Watchers. This is one of the good ones, and I'll be very sad if you don't remember it.
The opening 5 minutes of Star Trek Insurrection.
Yes.
Boom.
Yeah, that'll do.
The Defector. And your clue here is Savaloy.
Savaloy?
I don't think it was a helpful clue. I just think you were naming your files like a dick.
No, it's not in reference to one of the characters.
No! I know why I said that. It was because we had made a joke about a Savaloy, which had no relation to the rest of the plot of the episode. What was this one called again?
The Defector.
The Defector.
So what might that episode be about?
I mean, it's really all there for you.
A bit of defecting?
And who would be defecting?
Or some products that had imperfections that were caused by one man just buggering about in a factory.
No, it's definitely somebody defecting from somewhere to somewhere else.
Shame, I preferred mine.
Okay, the next one is The Price. And your clue is Vincent Price. And your further clue is Troy gets involved with a dangerous man.
Ah, this one is the plot of What Women Want.
Yes.
So next episode, this one's going to be a real tough one. Deja Q. And your clue is, I really, 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 really like Q.
Q gets his knob out on the bridge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good. And loses all his powers.
That's very secondary to the plot. It's more the knob getting out plot. That's the main thrust of the episode.
Allegiance, and your clue is it green jelly?
They are stuck in a sort of crystal maze game, and they keep just being sent capsules of jelly food.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's basically it.
Again, obscure comedy references really help here. Thanks, Lee and Herring.
And next, the high ground. And your clue is Sinn Féin is a legitimate political party.
Ah, this one is the Space IRA.
Yeah. Sensitively handled.
By us or the show?
Both. Next, the most toys. And your clue is Toy Story.
A man that I thought reminded me of Dan Aykroyd and no one else did. Who has a lot of guns and things, and he kills his mate. By accident. Well, no, not accident. They were escaping.
No, that's basically what happens. He kills the person at the end using the gun that causes a lot of pain.
That's the one.
I mean, I wouldn't say it was a great description, but it's in the ballpark.
Second to last one now, nearly at the end, and it's Captain's Holiday. And your clue is Dreadlock Holiday.
Picard gets his cock statue out.
Good.
Yes.
Very good.
And it's called a whore gun.
I can't believe you remembered that. I couldn't remember the name of the statue, but you've remembered it.
I only remember it because it reminds me of that bit in The Simpsons. Homer, I think you've got it set on whore.
The last one here, which you're not going to remember, is The Survivors.
A really interesting socio-political look at the fallout from infection across the world and the last people left alive, written by Terry Nation.
Now, you've actually mentioned this episode already in one of your ramblings.
And also, I'd forgotten this one was this season even, because it seems so long ago. Creepy music from a music box?
Constantly playing in Troy's head.
Oh, no.
Little old people.
What, the man who's reading her mind. Did we just do that one a minute ago?
Yes, we did. That's the price.
Right.
This one is a little old couple on a planet who seem to be the only ones there, but it actually turns out that he's a god and killed all the people.
Oh, lovely. That's nice.
I think you got about 6 out of 26 there. But frankly, who cares?
Oh, one for each year of the podcast.
Alex, do you think it's been a worthwhile you sitting and watching these episodes and spending hours of your life making podcasts about them?
No.
This is probably a pretty redundant question, but would you say this has been a memorable season of Star Trek The Next Generation?
I would, but I think we've already made that joke on the previous 2 editions of this. I mean, not that that's ever stopped us before, so by all means, ask away.
We'll be back again next time where we'll be talking about The Best of Both Worlds Part 2. But until then, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. If any of our listeners had any great sense of comic timing, they'd be reviewing the podcast on iTunes with the review basically fine.